Hello YouTube and welcome to the Anti-Rachel Guide Episode 1, How to Get Around 6A. Just a quick bit of info before I start the tip giving. I'm a long-time Rachel player, and in my time with the BlazBlue series I found that there are a shit ton of people who have no idea what to do against her, probably due to the lack of people who actually play her. Anyway, I've started this series mainly to help those with little experience against her and those who just generally struggle whenever they're up against her, so there are less people who are like, oh my god, what do? Now let's get started. A few notes about 6A that you should know. 1. It causes float-on counter hits. This is not something you want to get hit by at all, mainly for this reason. She has a lot of time to hit you and it leads to some of her biggest damage. 2. It hits behind her. Despite what a lot of people seem to think, this is not a glitch. The hitbox on the move is huge. 3. It's air unblockable. If you block it in time while in the air, make sure to use barrier guard. 4. It's fairly fast. Not super fast, but 13 frames of startup isn't too shabby. 5. It has head attribute guard point from frame 7. Always something to keep in mind. Now I'll discuss ways to get around this. It's probably one of her hardest moves to get around. Usually it's seen as the best anti-air in the game, and I don't think I could argue with that. As such, good Rachel players can and will abuse it if you let them. You have to scare her into not pulling it out as much. Do not, I repeat, do not try to beat this move out in the air. Very few things will actually beat it out, and more than likely you'll eat a counter hit combo for attempting it. All that being said, here are a few ways to get around it. Number 1. Double jump to bait it. This is probably the most common way people go about baiting 6A, so I wouldn't recommend doing it overly much as a lot of Rachel players expect it. Rachel can throw out a second 6A in time to catch a move you do after the double jump, again leading to a counter hit combo. Number 2. Go in for it knowing it's coming, then block it and all of her following pressure, since she will follow up with 5B to continue said pressure. Given what a headache Rachel's pressure can be to deal with, you're probably wondering why I'd suggest such a thing. Let me explain. While her pressure is a pain to deal with, if you manage to successfully block it all, you're exactly where she doesn't want you, in her face. Rachel is terrible at dealing with pressure, so even if you can't get a punish after all the blocking, you still have the opportunity to flip the tables and gain the offensive. Number 3. Stay on the ground for the most part. 6A is her absolute best anti-air, but she has plenty of other ways to anti-air you as well, so generally speaking, I think it's a good idea to carefully approach her from the ground. When you're within the optimal range for a jump-in, but just outside of the range for 6A to hit you on the ground, that's the perfect spot. This is where you want to be able to read the Rachel player super well. If said Rachel is 6A happy, get ready to stay on the ground and whiff punish. If the Rachel player is a little more cautious about 6A usage, you're more likely to successfully jump in and start pressuring or comboing her without getting smacked. Properly mixing up these two options can really scare the Rachel player and make your life much easier. I personally find this method to be the hardest to deal with. Okay, that's all for now. I'm sorry if it's rushed. I would love some comments on it, and let me know what you think. I'll slow down, I'll do this, I'll do that, based off your comments. I hope these tips helped. Always keep in mind that none of these are foolproof if the Rachel player adapts well, but you probably already know that. Anyway, stay tuned for episode 2, and while I do not quite know the topic, I'm sure I'll figure it out. Bye!